Did you know that your gut health directly impacts your sexual wellness? It's true. So if you're wondering why you're not in the mood or have no energy for your sex life, it might be time to examine your gut microbiome. Your gut can control everything from libido, arousal levels, energy level, mood, and of course, bloat. I don't know about you, but for me personally, when I'm bloated, my food's not digesting well, the last thing I want to do is have sex. Knowing the importance of gut health, I've always tried my best when it comes to probiotics. And in doing my research, I'd find myself getting all these fancy probiotics, but never noticing a big difference. That's until I met Just Thrive. I love getting to recommend products with all of you that I use in my everyday life. It just feels like I'm sharing with friends, and you're my friends. And I want to tell you all about my journey with Just Thrive probiotics. So I've been taking them for a few months now, and I've truly noticed a difference. I digest things easier, and most importantly, I've noticed such a big change in my overall energy. I do not feel lethargic after a big meal. And actually, I feel more energized, and I want to keep going, doing work, having sex. And I talked to the creator of Just Thrive about what makes their probiotic different. And get this, Just Thrive is the only probiotic that survives your stomach acid and actually reaches your gut 100% alive. All those other ones that come in fancy drinks, so you got to refrigerate, nope. Those all die in your stomach acid. But not Just Thrive. Just Thrive is vegan-friendly, non-GMO, made with only the best and safest ingredients. Just Thrive has made an active difference in my life. If you try it out and you don't feel the same way, you don't have to worry about it because they do have a 100% money-back guarantee if for any reason it doesn't work for you. No worries. They won't even ask you questions. That's how confident Just Thrive is that you're going to love their product. So check it out at justthrivehealth.com. Use my code BOGO, SWE, to buy one 30-day probiotic and get another one for 50% off. That's code BOGO, SWE. And this deal also applies to their Just Calm gummies, which I love too. So check it out. That's justthrivehealth.com. Use code BOGO, SWE to buy one 30-day probiotic and get another for 50% off. One of the most common questions I receive from my listeners with a penis is, how can I last longer in bed? Whether it's due to premature ejaculation or maybe just wanting to enjoy sexual activity for longer, it is a very common question. But don't worry, I come with solutions. In addition to recommending Kegel exercises, yes, penis owners can do a Kegel exercise, and the stop-start method, I always recommend a delay spray such as Promescent. See, nerve signals are what trigger orgasms, and Promescent uses lidocaine to relax those nerve cells, giving you complete control over your climax. But don't worry, you still feel everything. In just 5 to 10 minutes from application, Promescent begins to work, and effects last for up to an hour. Promescent allows you to last longer in bed and enjoy all the sensations without having to worry about finishing early. Plus, a certified study showed a 50% increase in both partners reaching orgasm together when using Promescent. Shop Promescent.com/Emily for 15% off, free shipping, and a 60-day money-back guarantee, and always discreet delivery. That's Promescent.com/Emily for 15% off your order. You're listening to Sex with Emily. I'm Dr. Emily, and I'm here to help you prioritize your pleasure and liberate the conversation around sex. Today's episode is all about a topic that's a little bit controversial, sometimes even more than sex. We're talking about astrology. I know, before you're like, I don't know about astrology. Let me tell you, there is some serious wisdom and science to the snapshot of the time that you were born, and these women have been doing it for 30 years. Ophi and Tali, they founded AstroStyle, astrologers for Elle magazine, and these identical twins have revolutionized the way we understand astrology through their best-selling books like Love Zodiac, Momstrology, their annual horoscope guides. They've brought astrology to the millions, and their latest book, The Astrology Advantage, introduces their IM method. You can learn more about them at astrostyle.com, and you got to take their quiz right now to help you with this entire episode to discover your IM archetype. The Astrology Advantage unpacks their amazing system. It's a cosmic personality test that combines astrology, Meyers Briggs, and the Enneagram. And in this episode, she reads my chart using her own innovative framework to see how the stars align with my career, my sex life, my desires, and then where I fall in their system. And when you check out their system, you'll be able to follow along. We all really have a unique code, and Ophi will walk us through how to discover it. So you can use these tools to have an incredible life and sex life. Please rate and review Sex with Emily wherever you listen to the show. It helps get the show out to more people, and it just takes you a few seconds to do it. You can just do it right now. Look at your phone, look at your app that you're listening to this on, and review us. We so appreciate it. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or X, and Facebook, all the places. It's all at Sex with Emily. And check out my new articles, How to Have Vigorous Sex the Right Way, and Does Sleeping Apart Help Your Sex Life? Are both up on sexwithemily.com. Before we get into the episode, I'm so excited to announce my new membership community coming September 10th. It is called Smart SX. And this is the membership that you have been waiting for to take your sex life to the next level. I'm going to be there with you every step of the way, coaching you, helping you. You know, after 20 years of doing this one-way conversation with you, I want to work with you together and bring in some leading experts and help you build a community. These are your people that are going to help you have the sex life and the relationships that you've been craving. Check it out on my website, sexwithemily.com, and click the membership tab. All right, everyone, enjoy this episode. One of my biggest missions as a sex educator is to make sex less taboo. And I believe that talking about sex should be as casual and easy as asking what's for dinner. One of the best ways to do this is by talking about it with trusted friends or loved ones to compare experiences, get advice, even laugh about it because, sex is funny. It is important to find a community to talk about sex with. And that's why I'm so excited to create the Smart SX membership program. This membership will be an open forum to invite conversation between different curious and open-minded individuals across the world. And every week, there's going to be questions to contribute to. You can share your own experiences while commenting on others and overall just have a deeper feeling that you're not alone. Listen, we're all in this together and we're all just trying to have the most pleasurable sex and relationships as we possibly can. In addition to this welcoming community, the membership will include live coaching sessions, exclusive access to the best experts in the business, weekly polls and quizzes, and just so much more. So please join me in being a founding member of Smart SX. Head over to sexwithemily.com/membership to join the membership waitlist. That's sexwithemily.com/membership, or just text the word SX, that's the letter S and the letter X, to 323-309-4757. And I'll send you updates via text. We're starting a pleasure revolution and you're invited. See you there. Thank you for doing this. And it was so nice to meet you in person.
Oh my
We
God.
had that instant connection. We both went to University of Michigan, grew up miles away from each other.
Very few miles.
I know, right? Very few miles. And when you mentioned the Astrology Advantage, you had me hooked at lunch. I'm very lucky that I got like a sneak peek into the book and the philosophy of it. And it made me think we all love different modes to understand ourselves, right? We're obsessed with personality tests and like the Enneagram and Meyers Briggs and Clifton Strengths, which a friend just had me take. And so what I love is that you make astrology so easy to understand. And so I appreciate that. I think even by reading your book, The Astrology Advantage, and your new system, which we're going to get into, the IM system, I love that you call it your personal instruction manual. Because I'm always telling people, we need an owner's manual for our body so we know what we like. And I'm always getting people to do that. But this instruction manual for your life that's just laid out in the cosmos, I love it. Using astrology as an instruction manual for our life. So I love all of that. I'm going to admit that I was very skeptical about astrology for a long time. Can you just give us a quick why this isn't just some fluffy woo-woo thing?
So basically the birth chart is a snapshot of the sky overhead at your time of birth. So it's like if you looked up, took a freeze frame of the planets as they were arranged overhead with you, then you would see, oh, okay, it forms a pattern. And that tells you your strengths, your challenges, much like a personality test does, but mapped to the sky. It sounds crazy, but when my college boyfriend, also back at U of M, did this for me, he got me this 30-page report, and I was like, this is undeniably true about me. So I guess we come with a cosmic code that we don't know about.
Right. That's it. It's a cosmic code. And we want everyone to know about it so it can help them with a lot of areas that they're struggling, whether it's work, place, love, just relationship dynamics with everyone, your family. right?
Absolutely.
Maybe you could just first start out by explaining to us the I am system.
Well, the I am system is like a short code for astrology. So a lot of people nowadays have done their astrology charts already. They've, used apps or whatever, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. And now I've promptly forgotten everything that I've just read or learned. So my sister and I have been like working with entrepreneurs and high performing people, and they just don't have the hard drive space in their brain. They don't have time to remember an entire new hieroglyphic vocabulary of astrology. So we worked with something called the chart dominance in the chart, where it takes like your whole birth chart and crunches it into one of three archetypes: Innovator, Authority, and Maven. And from there, you can determine like what your mode and way of working with life is.
So let's get into these three archetypes that we break it down into in this
Yes.
book, in the I am.
Yeah. So a lot of people have heard about the elements, the fire, earth, air, and water signs. That's one way that the 12 zodiac signs are subgrouped. But there's another way that are called the qualities or modalities. And that's what we tapped into, because those are kind of the behavior triggers and psychological drivers and motivations. And they impact a lot of people use astrology for, oh, when will I find love, or but it's not only about that. It's also like, what is under the hood of you that makes you respond to things the way you do? And what do you need to feel this equilibrium in the world, in a relationship, in the bedroom, in life, wherever, in your body? So that's what you can find in the qualities and modalities. They have astro jargony names that we've redefined. So it's called cardinal, fixed, and mutable, but the cardinal signs are the four signs that start every season: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And we've renamed those the innovators because they're the starters, the trailblazers, and the pioneers who are always kind of ahead of the curve. And then there are the authorities, or the fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And they're in the middle of the season. So they kind of take what the innovators start and fashion it into something that the producers, the project managers, the experts, the ones who, put in those 10,000 hours to master something. And then there are the mavens, who are the communicators and the marketers. Those are the four mutable signs: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And they are the finishers of the season. So they polish everything up and serve it up to the people.
How do we use this to either find someone? We can start with that, to find someone.
Yeah.
And then what if we're with somebody that isn't compatible? Like, is there some signs or some of these that shouldn't be together?
No, I think everyone can be together. I believe that
Perfect.
any two people, if they love each other, can make it work.
I'm with you.
Yeah. But you need to kind of know the person's operating system. Like, you cannot install Mac software on an Android platform or a Windows platform without a little extra, at least, little IT support there. So you got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know what you're signing up for. And then I guess this is just true no matter what preferences come in. Like, you got to be like, are you willing to meet me halfway? If you're a maven and you're extra talky or flirty, and I'm an authority, and I see you're flirting with other people as a signal of disrespect instead of something that you actually going to bring home to the boudoir, and we're going to both enjoy the bounty of that. This is a helpful negotiation tool. It's a framework to give you something to start from. I have been joking that I think, like, we have 70 plus pronouns for gender. Why don't we have those for relationships too? I mean, maybe we do, but not enough.
Not enough.
And
We don't.
Innovators are like, we have a secondary name. Innovators are the idealists. Sometimes I call them the independents too. Authorities, the attachers, and mavens, the mirrors. Innovators should not always live with their partners, but we have like, well, you've now reached this point on the linear timeline. You should move in together and get, and the minute an innovator does that, like that sexy mystery, innovators are all about discovery. So when you kill the discovery channel, which is like when someone's a little bit mysterious or a whole lot, it can really kill the attraction. But there is no real cultural space for innovators to be like, I want to have a companion, but not live with them ever, or have a third space that we share or something like that.
So what about the authority? You call it the attacher.
Yeah, so they do want that kind of secure attachment at a certain point. Because they get exhausted by too many changes. Even if you are in a living apart together as an authority, it's like that's just what you're doing. Authorities are more literal, loyal. They're like, innovators are about the future. Authority is the past. They want to build a legacy. They want, even if you do it your own way, it's still like these are the agreements and the rules and the expectations and the ground rules and the boundaries. And so everything is more defined for authorities. And that's what allows you to relax and be more free and open.
What about the mavens?
The mavens are just talk, all about communication. Like, they want to talk about what they're going to do, what they're doing while they're doing it, what you just did when you finished doing it. Mirrors. They're just like, blah, 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 blah. And, you got to be into that and touch and explore and experiment. Mavens rule the present. They're touchy, they're explory, they're curious, they're everything.
How do they pursue their sex life?
So you get this one size fits all advice for like, well, you need to talk in the bed, and that some people like that and some people don't.
Are there any signs that are more kinkier or explorative or experimental?
I would say, like, how would an innovator be kinky? How would an authority, and how would it be? The innovator would just like, it would just probably just happen. Like, oh, I never thought I was going to do that. And all of a sudden I'm having a threesome, like, and then a maven would be like, have some elaborate, I always wanted to try kind of this. An authority, there would be like an entire historical period costume, like elaborate scene that would be planned probably for that.
Okay. How do you know which areas to lean into and which ones to pull back on if it's all evenly split?
Well, I think for you and for the people that have a more even split, like you can play in the different one. You can be like, which one do I want to lean into now? Like, I think you should always know, like, at the end of the day, you are an authority. So you will probably, like, after a certain point, want to know where something's going, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to want to leave it open-ended forever or be with someone who's like in an ambiguous kind of like not quite divorce sort of setup. Like that wouldn't be your jam for more than like you might play with that on a vacation as an innovator or a maven, but when you're really looking to, but you would probably need a person who knows how to be traditional, but also freaky.
Couples could just take this for free tonight and you actually spell it out for people how they could work together, right? In your book.
Absolutely.
And I think it makes it more fun. Be like, okay, this is how we are, right? It gives them a little bit more roadmap.
And if you don't like something or you're not, because I think sometimes people get shamed for not being experimental enough in some cases, that happens too. Like, oh, I should be more
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, I wish I knew this 20 years ago because all the time my partner wants to be more explorative or kinkier. What do? I get these asks every day, and I should just be like, well, you could start by figuring out your charts. You could start by figuring out the IM method, right? Because in a way, that's just who they are. But so much of relationship is just doing this deeper work of compromise and understanding, maybe you're not as explorative, but sometimes you could be, then they could give you what you want.
Right.
But a lot of times there's the people who say, I'm just not that. And I always say, okay, but if you're not that exploring or you're not kinky, then what are you?
Right. Or maybe they just hear the word exploratory or kinky and a whole world of associations opens up
that's it.
Isn't even accurate. Like it's like, oh, I'm supposed to change my nature and be that way. Like, no, actually, like exploring could just mean like changing a location or something. Like they don't even
Right.
know what the options are because we just full stop shut down because we hear something like, I'm going to fail at that. I'm not going to be good at that. I'm going to be someone's, story over drinks with her girlfriends or guy talk, and everyone's going to know what I was like, and I'm going to be humiliated for not, so I'm only going to play in the safe zone.
Okay, so maybe we should walk through my chart then. So through
Yes.
I am and see how it plays out in my chart so everyone listening can understand how they can interpret theirs.
There's 13 points in the system. So for you, 4 are innovator, 5 are authority, and 4 are maven. So you're one of the people that are a little more balanced. When we do this extended chart where we add the elements in that we call the I am diagram, you are the earth authority, the provider. So in your spread of these things, you are no fire, 6 earth, 3 air, and 4 water.
I got to get more fire.
Right.
What does that mean?
So fire means kind of like action oriented and motivated. Sometimes if you have none, you'll like actually overcompensate and be the person that takes all the risks and, lights the match first but accidentally starts a wildfire the minute they light a match. So it's like you may not have a whole lot of balance, but if you're low or don't have any fire, you probably do need a team to keep you moving ahead and burning, right?
That's it. That's what the team's all about.
You feel more confident doing that when you have people behind you. The heavy earth, you're a provider. So earth is like the material resources. You really like security, stability. I mean, you have a long running show here. Like you like to find something, become a master of it. That's also very authority-ish. 3 air, so like kind of in the middle. Air is spreading the message. It's a little bit lower, but you have a marketing director for that. And then 4 water, which is decently high, and that makes you empathic and creative. So I would say that you would prefer to be in a setting where you can just, take your expertise, empathically share it with people. You don't have to be the person running around. Fire also likes to run around and do all the things. Like you're like, no, thank you. You're not the
No,
producer here of your own show.
No, I am
I would
not.
hate that. And
Terrible job for me.
terrible job. But like if you sit down and just tune in, you start to channel and like really connect with people. So you're doing everything as you should. And then in the I am, you're 4 innovator, 5 authority, and 4 maven. So your highest is authority, meaning that if you had to, draw a straw between like starting a whole new venture, which would be innovator, marketing the venture, which would be maven, or being the expert and having everybody else do that other stuff, that's authority, you would take being the expert. So does that track for you?
That does track for me. That took me a long time in my career to get here. I'm heading into my 20th year of doing this podcast. And, at the beginning
so
of any kind of
authority.
startup, exactly. But at it took me a long time of doing everything and thinking I should be able to do it all. But it's not until I really realized that I could have a team that supports me in really every other area so I could be the best authority that I could be and help people. That's really what I love doing, empathically sharing, connecting to people, and everything else is just not my jam as much. So that completely resonates.
You are, yeah. And imagine if you had this calculator in that 20-year journey and you realize that about yourself sooner. So that's my real goal. And
That's what I was going to say. I wish I had it 20 years ago. This will really, it gives people, permission probably to lean into what they already know. Or what have you seen?
Absolutely. Permission. And like people are really carrying around a lot of shame and feeling like, they're hiding, like, oh God, I am, like we joke about the Maven mess. Mavens have piles of things, but they have a method to their madness, but they're shamed for not having the perfect, wicker basket system a la Martha Stewart living in the early aughts or whatever. Like we still have these standards that people are quietly expected to live up, whether we impose it on ourselves or just it's just what we see. And people don't operate that way. They don't fit into these little boxes, but
No.
there's a part of us that thinks that we're supposed to. So when
Yeah.
you do this and you get that cosmic permission to be who you are, again, it doesn't mean you're like, well, maybe it's not like, well, I'm a Maven, I'm just going to make bigger messes. You're going to be like, okay, that is a tendency. I'm going to take the shame out of it and maybe find a way of like not being as messy because it's not
Yeah.
serving my highest goals. That's a
Yeah.
different place to come
Yeah.
from.
It is, but I love the shame part of it because I have to say why this gives me such a sigh of relief is that I have held a lot of shame around not being able to do things that seemingly should be easy for me, like the organization, the
Right.
planning. I think again, it's a sigh of relief to
It
say, okay,
is.
this
It
is like, well,
is.
I can't really change this, right? You can't,
You
this is
can
all
change it in a way that you can change it over time through
right.
learning, but not like changing your wiring. Like, and also like there are better questions you can ask yourself besides, can I change this? For example, like, why am I procrastinating? Getting curious. I'm an innovator, so I'm always thinking about these kinds of things. Like, well, why would an authority procrastinate? Authorities really do best when they stay in the lane they're in. Like, it doesn't mean you can't drive in multiple lanes, but you're not a lane crosser when you're doing something. So you're probably
Mhm.
what's underneath the procrastination is like you don't feel prepared. You don't go give
Mhm.
enough research or data because authorities, their credibility is everything in order to maintain the role. A Maven might procrastinate because they need to talk about it. Mavens are very interactive and they need like a brainstorming session. So
Yeah.
like instead of like fighting what's happening within you, go like, why this is make it right instead of making it wrong. And then you have these tools to
Yeah.
use.
So much of life is about how do you improve yourself? How do you work on your weaknesses to turn them into strengths? And this is more like this is who you are. This
Mhm.
is your cosmic roadmap. This is your personality. Really go toward your strengths. Would you say that's your philosophy?
Absolutely know your strengths and always have them. But sometimes, like, for example, your 8 Maven marketing director, right? Like, sometimes that's too much of a good thing. So, we in the book have a part that we jokingly call Astro Ayurveda, where it's like balance out. If you know that you're really high or really low, you might consciously then add what you don't have. Or, okay, if you're really high Maven, you might be really full on. Everything is the biggest deal, the most epic thing ever. And then you're like, all right, not everybody can really gel with that. So it might be one of those things where like, maybe I need to dial that down for that person who's super
Oh,
high authority.
and I also love that you started that you talked about the shame thing because we are launching this membership and it's
Ooh,
a membership for people to it's a community of people to come and talk about what's holding them back sexually, how to communicate about their needs and how to really, like I said, build their own
love it.
sexual dating owner's manual. And it's called Smart SX. And I know you're also going to be doing some stuff for that today, but I just love this because this is like another tool. And then there's like a community aspect where people are going to actually find a community of people that can
Oh
help
my
them in
God,
safety
I
because it
love it.
helps with the shame, right? Like the antidote to shame is
Yes.
like speaking your truth, right? I want to ask also, what about the gender differences with the IM system? Like, do certain genders experience it differently? Does that matter?
I think that, it's all a spectrum and continuum. I certainly don't need to tell you that, but I think that the things we've learned or inherited, learning from gender roles and cultural ones will intersect with this. Like a male authority might express authoritatiness in the way that a male conditioning would have them. If they're not
Societal.
conscious about, yeah, if they're not conscious that they're doing that, they might be like, well, I know better.
Like if I want to get a little personal here, which I might, I had my partner-ish, sort of an ex, but we're still share some things together. We're figuring it
Mhm.
out. But I am an authority, as we know, and my ex is an authority, and I
Mm.
can't remember what else we found.
Okay, so this special friend of yours is only has one water planet, which is one of the ones you're high in. He has 5 air, which is one of the ones you're low in, and he's 2, 6, 5. So he's also he's lower on Innovator, higher on Maven, and he's an authority, but he's pretty close authority in Maven. But low on water is like not as empathic, maybe thin-skinned and oversensitive at times, and then insensitive at other times. Or just like, the water, you're just maybe not ever fully emotionally gelling, right?
Yeah.
And yet you're both authorities. So it's like the bird in the hand or the devil, is sometimes a good one to hook up with.
What are some great case studies that you could tell me about how companies or relationships have shifted? Maybe relationships, if you work with couples. What are some ways you see couples use this information to really reinvigorate their relationship?
Well, what's happening with couples these days is just that both partners usually have very full lives, schedules, existing communities. They maybe have kids from other people. They're just, they are these, it's not like 1 + 1 = 2 anymore. It's 1 + 1 = 3 or 0. So it's like if you're
Hopefully
not
3.
making if you're not making each other's lives amplified and better, then it's almost like, why am I doing this? So like relationships, I say, are going through a giant iOS update right now, and their function and purpose is unclear. That it's certainly not what it was back in the day, when we needed each other for survival. I believe we're in the age of Aquarius, which is about choice, not like survival. So it's harder to find, just like it's harder to, just like we expect everything customized to us. Unfortunately, we're expecting other people to customize themselves to our preferences, and we forget that it's not Grubhub, it's another person.
I wish it was Grub. I wish we could just order it
I
up.
wish, I
But that's a great
know.
point, what you're saying, because I've run into that too in my own relationships, that I've said 1 + 1 has to equal 3 these days. We have to be compatible in work, life, play. We got to all be bringing stuff to the table to amplify.
We had a reality dating show on Amazon Prime called Cosmic Love a couple of years ago. And we had a cast of 20 people, 4 main characters that each had 4 matches. And we had to match them up astrologically. And one of the weeks we did the composite chart. And that was the week that blew a lot of their minds because, they were so like, I'm an Aquarius, she's a Libra, blah, blah, blah. Are we? But then it's like, oh, this is what you come together as. And it really shifted people. Oh, together we're a Taurus. We are here to do this. I think it gives people, see, we almost need I don't want to call it artificial, but a self-generated focus. Like we used to come together back in the day for a family, for legacy, for this. There was a reason that people put up with the hell of other people, right? Sometimes for a common goal. So when you do the composite chart, you get that common goal. Oh, we're here to build this.
It's
So
really
we're here to do
inspiring.
this.
I could see that being very inspiring for people and sort of a reminder of why they came together in the first place.
Yeah, because it's
And
so easy to forget now.
yeah, it's like a business plan or a cosmic plan for your relationship. But what do you see in astrology right now as the future of marriage and partnership, according to
Yeah,
astrology?
I love that
What's going
question.
on?
We have to realize it's not what it was anymore. I mean, there's what, a 70% divorce. Like we have to realize that there are higher odds in our favor of so many other things than marriage. It's like if we have to look at it as a choice and have to also understand that we are evolving so quickly. Our consciousnesses, our preferences, our society, like to think that you're going to be able to stay in sync with someone when your life, like you could be a new person when you wake up tomorrow and reinvent yourself. So we have to understand that we're not playing on the same ball field here anymore, but people do need each other. And we have to just be willing to try new tools.
What we're looking for is still sort of based in the past paradigm, but now we're seeing that we really need more, and so or different things, different
Yeah,
kinds of
some people
partners.
are looking for that. A lot of them are
Some are.
authorities or mavens that want to compare. But even the ones that are, it's like wanting it and keeping it going are still two like worlds apart.
So what your work can do is really help people keep it,
It's
even
like
if
the
they didn't.
honeymoon is going to end, and it's going to end a lot faster than you think.
We all have choices,
Yeah.
and we can all make it work for us if we give ourselves permission to actually do the work and explore what kind of relationship we want. I'm always saying it's not one size fits all. That's a lot of what our membership is about as well. Our Smartest Sex membership will be a lot about giving people permission to explore and figure out what kind of relationship they want, what kind of sex life they want. Because a lot of
Love
times we don't
that.
feel like we have permission, right? We don't even know what's available.
People don't even know that such a roadmap could exist or is possible for them. Like, whoa, I have these choices. They're so afraid of sex or afraid of astrology or spirit, any deeper exploration beyond just like the face they show the world, that it's like, you're just like denying yourself all these options.
So true. I was thinking that about how astrology and sex are so taboo in many ways and very misunderstood, but yet they can really deepen the richness of our lives
I
so
love
much
that.
if we really understand it, right? I was thinking that when I was reading your book, I was like, oh, I'm always spending a lot of time trying to tell people initially too, like, no, sex can be, it's not just what you think. It's not just penetration, it's connection, it's intimacy. Hear me out. Like
Oh my
it could
goodness.
be different than what
Sun
you're told.
signs, penetration. Yes.
All the things, there's just so much more to it. And I just want people to, feel safe and know we can explore and life can get a lot better from here for sure.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Too. I love that all of your work and all of your dozens of books. How many have you written now?
21, going on 22.
Oh my
You
God.
know,
Well, congratulations on all this. I just love the work that you and your sister are doing. You have so much wisdom. And you really are doing such an incredible service, whether people are looking for a partner to increase their productivity or have more love in their life, less conflict. So everybody has to get your book. It's out now, The Astrology Advantage, and you can follow the AstroTwins to discover your inner innovator
yes.
or authority or Maven. And hear them on our membership too, Smart SX. We're doing a special session with you, and that's going to be, the membership comes out on September 10th, right when this is released.
Perfect.
I know. Anything else we can know about you or where to follow you?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram at AstroTwins. Come do your I am archetype at astrostyle.com/IAM. Get the book, read all about it, but come and share which one you are.
Thank you for being here. So appreciate you, Ophi.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily, and be sure to like, subscribe, and give us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, and share this with a friend or partner. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or X, and Facebook. It's all at Sex with Emily. Oh, and I've been told I give really good email, so sign up on sexwithemily.com, and while you're there, check out my free guides and articles for more ways to prioritize your pleasure. And if you'd like to ask me about your sex life, dating, or relationships, call my hotline, 559-TALK-SEX. That's 559-825-5739, or just go to sexwithemily.com/assemily. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.